Good morning. I'm Sheriff Danny H. Rogers of the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. I'd like to welcome you again to another episode with Coffee with the Sheriff. Our special guest today is Alicia Brown. Alicia Brown is with the Oaks Therapeutic Community. And just want to say thank you so very much for coming in, joining us today, talking a little bit about what you all do in your profession. And you have, what, 14 years of school counseling as well?
That's right. That was my first job right out of graduate school.
Loving the kids.
Such a special job. And I've been in mental health ever since.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we thank you for what you do. And
same to you.
Thank you. It's mental health is real. Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time.
Absolutely. To everybody.
Everybody. It does not discriminate how much money you have, what you look like, what gender, who you love. It does not discriminate.
No. It affects everything, every aspect of your life.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being a teenager, and I had no idea, but dealing with teenage depression.
Yes.
Because of not feeling the worth or wondering why I'm going through, or my mom and siblings are going through what we're going through. And I wanted better because I saw my schoolmates having better and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mental health hits early a lot of times because of that. Yeah. You start to look around and notice how your life might be different than others. Yeah. Yeah.
I got a chance to take control of it.
Way to go. And I'm so glad. And everybody that's been affected by you is so glad. Right now, my current role is the director of the Oaks Therapeutic Community, and that's a nonprofit that I helped to found. During my time at Ragsdale, that just became a passion for me. I started seeing, mental health in that most pressing form right there at schools, and just saw the massive need. And really enjoyed helping to meet it. That's kind of always been my passion, is relationships. Yeah. And I love teenage age because there's so much potential, for headed toward passions or headed toward disaster. And I just love that, coming alongside of people, partnering with them to head toward good things.
It's interesting. Just real talk.
Yeah.
Did you see yourself through those teenagers, when you were younger, was really kind of afraid to say something to someone because you didn't know what they were going to think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I love the passion of teenagers. Even the bold ones that are like, you shouldn't be saying that.
The bold ones are funny.
Yeah. And they're going to do great things.
They will.
And so I try to never see it as attitude, but you got a lot to say and you want to be heard. And that kind of passion changes the world. And so I've always enjoyed that age. But yeah, I saw myself in them, and I still do. Just the, what will be. I've been really blessed to have great support, and I think that's huge. My family been cheerleading me my whole life.
That's great.
And I just think that's really important. And so even if a family can't provide that, somebody needs it. Right. And so it's big to find a partner for anybody.
Yeah. Coming up as a teenager myself, my teenage years kind of went bam. Mm-hmm. I had to work. I had to go to school. I didn't like school, but I had to go. Mm-hmm. Actually, I quit school on a Friday.
You quit school? How old were you?
I was 17. Mm-hmm. Quit on a Friday, and coach come by here. Rogers, I hear you quitting school. Yes, sir. What you gonna do, son? I said, I'm going to work. And he stood and he looked at me. And normally in the hallway during lunch time, there is 30, 40 other kids out there. Mm-hmm. Nobody was in the hallway. Mm-hmm. And he stood there and he twirled his whistle And he looked at me for about 30 seconds to a minute. In his green athletic pants and his white Southwest Guilford athletic shirt. And he said, Rogers, finish school. You have the rest of your life to work. I said, Friday's my last day, Coach. So Friday come at 3:15, the bell ring, I don't clean out my locker, everything.
You were out.
I'm out. I'm going to work. I'm going to work, get me a job and take care of myself. Well, I think I worked the weekend. And
What was your job?
I worked at the time, it was Holly Farms Fried Chicken. And I worked up under a lady by the name of Florence Burns. And I thought Miss Burns was the most racist person.
Really?
But she wasn't. What she was no nonsense. I didn't come to understanding of that until I become older and reflected back one day what she had taught me working in that restaurant. Now, she had, you know Dan Dudeman, the law firm?
Yes.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Can any good thing come out of Holly Farms Fried Chicken? Yes. It was myself, Dan Dudeman, Anthony Harper, Amos Adams.
They worked there?
All of us did, yeah. We were a special group.
Yeah. That's fun.
But she knew she knew how to. She had been given the gift to deal with us. She taught us how to sanitize a kitchen from the top to the bottom, bottom to the top. I mean, she was. I didn't realize this, and sometimes I get fooled by telling the story, because she was there, and we didn't understand it. I mean, we would talk about it like, man, that daggone hateful woman. That's it. We talk. I mean, we would talk. But what she was doing was steering us. Yeah. And that's something.
That discipline is really important. Yeah. Routine.
She brought a routine to us. Every Saturday, we had to clean the restaurant from the top to the bottom. That's real talk.
And that's life skills.
Yeah, and she taught us that.
Yeah.
And she drove up every day from Reeves. Now, who do that? Who does that? From Reedsville, North Carolina, to High Point, to a chicken place.
She owned it or managed it?
No, she was a manager.
Okay. Wow. So how long did you stay?
I think we stayed at Holly Farms a little over a year. Okay. And but we stayed long enough to get what she needed to put into us. I see Dan there once in a while. And it's amazing. He comes from a law firm. He comes from a family of textile, I think it was. I said, Dan, nobody in your family is a lawyer attorney? He said, no. Nobody in my family is a law enforcement.
Did you go back to school?
I did. I went back to school Monday, girl.
You did the weekend? You didn't even quit?
Well, you know, I like to think I did. I know the hard stuff, the hard knocks. But the interesting part was that I did, and I realized that how important years go by. I thought I got a chance to think about how important it is to be, or to have mentors in your life. Yeah. Here I had this guy, a white coach, at the time that civil rights was beginning to start mellowing out a little bit in the early 80s. I mean, you know, and he's telling me, he said, Rogers finished school.
Yeah, well, like, want better.
Well, yeah. Since then, he has been here at the sheriff's office.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
I bet that was special.
We had a lunch, he and his wife, and it's good.
One of my favorite memories as a school counselor is, you know, when kids would drop out, especially after graduation. I mean, we'd try everything we could to get them to graduation, but sometimes you just couldn't get them back in the building. But then there was this dropout recovery period that's a couple weeks at least after, and you try to get them back in to do credit recovery or anything, work, whatever. And so I would go visit families, and Ragsdale's near like Kivett and Triangle Lake.
Yes.
Some super poor areas right there. And so I found this kid that I had had for 4 years, and I went to his house, and he was sitting out back on his weight bench, and I love sports and working out, and I always have. And so I sat down on his weight bench, and we just talked, like just sitting there, about what he wanted and about why he stopped, and just let him talk. And I'll never forget just sitting there with him and connecting. Different race, different SES, different family background, but he just needed to be heard.
He needed to be heard.
Yeah. And he came back.
So that leads me into this here. Not only as you're in the confinement of the school, or let's call it a village.
Yeah.
And the students are coming in. But those that are working with the students, many of them are dealing with issues.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That had to be tough. You deal with your own personal life, your own self. And I tell people, hold on, there's a collage, if I may use that, of who we are. We have our good days, we have our challenging days, we have our days we just don't know, we have our days we don't care, we have our days we just like leave us alone. We have all that stuff. Yeah. People will sit back, well,
everybody does.
What's the matter with you then? Well, hold up, have you thought about self? But when you see those teachers and coaches and administrators come in, and they're there at the school or at the village to help somebody else's child.
Yeah. All day long, every day.
All day long.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, who's listening to them?
It's interesting you say that. That never left me. And so at the Oaks, the nonprofit that I left school counseling to start, a big piece of what we do is go into schools and work with the staff on their wellness. And you got a piece of paper, I want to show you something. You're talking about each person has their own stuff. We teach it in the form of a wheel, a wellness wheel. The outside being how well I feel, how equipped I am to do this day. Whatever you got on your calendar today, can you walk through it equipped? Not perfect, not like my life is going to be awesome and no stress, but like I can get through it. I can deal with the stress that comes. The inside of that wheel are our spokes, right? Just like a bicycle wheel. That's what keeps that tire round and doing its job. And so teachers, think about them in the village, or officers, walking in and doing their job in this village. How equipped are they to do it? These are the spokes that we teach. There's 8 research-backed spokes. Things like thriving community, knowing you're not alone, nutrition and brain health, feeding your brain to handle stress well, exercise, any form of movement, it don't have to be CrossFit, physical work, so finding meaning in your role, in your job, and on, 8 of them. And then we teach teachers to personalize those. It might be like mine is sitting on my porch or my favorite chair every morning when I wake up. If I have like 30 or 45 minutes to just not boss anybody around, not be in a hurry, that's huge for equipping my wheel. We call that a power spoke. And so we love to teach staff how to build this as strong as they can build it, so that they can walk through and be equipped for that day, to reach all those kids that need it so bad. When we don't get to do these, our wheel, my colleague says, is wonky.
Makes the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes the wheel do what it does.
It doesn't do its job anymore. You can't roll, you can't function. You can go a little while on a flat tire, a tire that's leaking, but eventually you got to get back to these things that keep you well. Spiritual strength is one of those for us. And so I'm passionate about equipping people to take care of themselves so they can take care of other people.
Yes.
That's the Oaks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with the Oaks, when you look at the Oaks and what you all do and the tools that you have that you give to the people, I'm still at the village.
Yeah.
We have the teachers, we have the maintenance people, we have the kitchen staff, we have everybody there that's involved. And the children, the SOs, and the children learned, they began to learn their behavior patterns.
Yeah.
And that's when we're watching the children are watching us. You know? How does Oaks take that as a tool, or I say as a tool, and put it back in the lap of the individuals to help them become holistic?
I think you have to be practical. So you can Google information forever, right? It's all over the internet.
Everything.
It's too much, in my opinion. People can't like soak it all in and know how to practically apply it to their life.
Right.
And so something else I love that we get to do with the schools is we have this workbook that has 12 lessons, and we hit each spoke. We don't do them all in the schools, but we highlight critical ones that we feel like every kid needs. And they work through it week after week with our consultants. So like a 30-minute lesson, and they'll learn about life skills. They'll learn how to make a schedule and why being able to stick to a schedule keeps your will strong and round. So behavior, just really teaching that behavior pattern. We reinforce it the next week when we talk about thriving community and how you're not alone. You matter to this classroom, you matter to your family, whatever that looks like. You matter to this community and how you serve it and what you decide to do. And we teach communication patterns there, so practical, like how do I use an I statement and express my needs, where I don't have to yell at you and tell you what you should do, but ask for what you need. What else we do? Finding meaning in work, like what's your purpose in coming in to do this math test that you don't want to do? Trying to help them see, longer than today. And so with anybody, you got to be practical. Why does this matter to me and my life and my loved ones? Just try to work on that.
So giving people teaching them self-worth. When we have or we gain knowledge of self-worth, it makes us feel good.
Yeah, all the difference.
All the difference.
My favorite quote by one of our clients is, I needed to believe I was worth saving.
Wow.
Needed to believe I was worth saving. We spend a lot of time in the counseling piece of what we do, convincing people they're worth the work, because they don't believe it. And you have to start there. That's why our two key words are worth and wellness.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
big.
it really is. And it teaches us, and that's where our spirituality, spirit life comes into play.
Where'd you learn your worth?
Wow, it's interesting. I don't think I really became a person of accepting who I was or who I am until about 4 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I had gone through life, and I remember one day, it's interesting, I was getting dressed and I could hear the voice of the Lord tell me, until you learn to accept who you are, then only then will you be able to identify your worth. I'm like, wow.
That's profound. And I like how the Lord doesn't waste words.
He doesn't waste
Just
words.
straight
He
through.
doesn't speak. I don't hear him speak every day or every month or so, but I heard that. And I'm like, wow. And think about it. I've been a full-grown man.
Yeah.
And still didn't understand or recognize my worth.
How did it change it for you?
The interesting piece. I have this thing when I'm talking with the staff or the team members. I said, if you hear me say, I get it. I get it. I understand. Because people look at law enforcement officers as heroes. They this and they that. They don't have no pain. They don't go through no drama. They don't have no life issues. Well, hold up, they do. And I deal with so many of them. I think I looked yesterday, I have 653 or 73 people. Yeah.
That's a lot of people to be leading.
There's a lot of people.
I have 12.
But you know.
Staff, a lot of volunteers though, people pouring in.
Yeah, and I listen to them. I laugh with them. You know, we do what we have to do administratively.
Yeah.
Pray with them.
Wow.
Cry with them.
You just do life with them. It's got to be a team.
It's a team effort.
You can't make it without it.
Yeah. So I thank you for Oaks. I do. You know, when Kevin had mentioned to me about Oaks. You know Kevin?
Yes.
Kevin Chris.
Yes. I met him through a colleague.
I had been in law enforcement. I've been a business owner. I had come up in a single family household mother. I had been a fatherless dad that did what he did because he didn't know. A fatherless stepdad did what he did because he didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, but I had just the pillows of a great granddaddy and a granddaddy and great grandmother and grandmother, mothers that took it and led, you know. And then I think we could have used Oaks
Good.
therapeutic back in the day.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
My plan is to be able to partner with Oaks as you all are doing things.
Appreciate it.
Because the community needs it. And they need to know that they're not alone.
Yeah. I'd love to tell you a story that just happened last week.
Okay.
It's cool timing too, just for this. Do you know that we make courses with the company that has the tablets in jails all around the
Paytail.
country? Yes. Yeah. And that's been a privilege. And so we've made 10 courses on this model with them. And they are in the jails. They've been there since about 2022. And they just keep rolling them out, you know, around the country. This past week, we had a lady call and say, I just got out of jail on Monday, and y'all's courses meant so much to me while I was in there, and I just wanted to find you once I got out and get help.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, that's got to be one of my favorite memories.
You know, it is interesting because Monday, we started the medical assistant treatment mat for the detention centers here in Greensboro and in High Point, Guilford County, which is a program with those that are addicted to opioids or whatever the situation may be. They can still receive the medication while they're incarcerated, but when they leave, and it helps get people on track.
Yeah. This precious lady, she gave me permission to share, and she was 72 days clean when I talked to her. I mean, major drug addiction her whole life.
Yeah.
But you could see, when you can see clarity in people's brains from having that period of cleanness, and it takes longer than that to get that brain working again. but there's where the impact is. You know, that's why I love the courses in the jails, because they're in a place where it's consistent routine.
Right.
And so they're sponges. Like, they want to learn, you know, they're clear enough to want better and to be able to see better during that time.
They do. People want a better life.
Mm-hmm. And all through those courses, we emphasize you're not alone. Like, you're not alone, you're not alone. You're worth it.
Yeah.
And so she told me her story, and we're going to be able to start her in the right direction toward help. And I just can't think of something better to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, Vince and his team has done a phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. I've only known him for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm a slow reader with people here and there. Mm-hmm. I kind of, you know, sit back and watch and see.
Yeah, take your time.
You know, yeah. And I watched him. Mm-hmm. You know, as I do the rest of the people. And I'm looking to see what people's hearts at.
Yes, and that's him.
Yeah.
His heart is tremendous.
I am well comfortable with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So someone needs help,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking for you, and they're looking for your company. Mm-hmm. Give us your location and what you do and all that great stuff.
We've been really blessed. Church, Pleasant Garden Baptist, has given us a house to use since 2019, and then they gave us a bigger house in 2 years ago. That's when we opened the counseling center. Okay. And so God keeps adding to our staff, like, amazing team of people who have the same heart and just want to meet people where they are and help. And so you call our main number. Yeah, you can connect on the phone or the website. And Christina, who runs everything, is the one that answers that line and just can direct. We have 5 branches of care, so not just counseling, but counseling is one of the main things we do. And that's how you set up an appointment, is calling that main number or reach us through our website.
So what's your other 4 branches of care?
So we do the media education, online courses and education that way. We do consulting, the individual and the corporate consulting. So we go to companies and schools and teach this model to help them implement that common culture of language at their place. Because it matters if it's a culture. You need to not just be in this yourself.
Yes.
So we like to help a company establish this for their employees, their team. And I mean, that just started a couple years ago and is growing as we're able to do the opportunities. We're at a charter school right now, and that's been phenomenal to get to partner with them. Our long-term goal is day treatment and then possibly residential program where we live and teach this model. And so a home for women to come. That's really where the Oaks dream and calling started. It's based on Isaiah 61. Okay. And that's just, it speaks to, like, God's ability to restore from nothing, brokenness, and bring beauty from ashes. And it says they will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of His splendor. So we've gotten to watch that already. We got to help a lady and her sweet baby for about 1.5 years in our first house. And then we stepped back because we needed a bigger team. If you're going to have a residential program, you need a big team. Right, you do have to have a good team. Yeah, 24-hour care is no joke. That's great. And so we've been building the team, God's been building it, and we're planning a day treatment program in 2024 for a higher level of care. Well, that's coming up. I know. It's coming up. We're in the 10th month already. Yes, sir. 2023. Mm-hmm. What I like to see, because I know that different cultures, different ethnicities deal with counseling and mental health breakdowns and stuff like that, because people are different and different cultures understand. They understand their villages or their communities. That's right. I love the word village.
Yeah. Is that the sheriff's office is working on developing just a few team members, organizations like yours, and we have some more organizations that we're working with that men can speak directly to men, because a lot of men won't talk to women.
That's right. We have our first male intern just this time, and I'm thrilled. Yeah, it's really important.
Then we have to have the breakdown of not just the gender, but the race. Because, you know, you have some white men that won't talk to black counselors or Latinos. That's right. You have black men that won't talk to white counselors.
Yeah, that barrier's...
Yeah, that barrier's there.
It's real, yeah.
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 So our goal is to reach, touch, love all. That's what we do. And I know the job I had, they made it political. It's not political for me. I'm here, you know. We do what we need to get done to help in-house before we get up outside.
Yeah, yeah. You got to equip the people that are doing the work.
Have to. And we've seen the change of hearts and attitudes and mindset with people. Even the community calls us and say, wow, Sheriff, thank you for sending Deputy Mike out or Deputy Bria out. Yeah. They were awesome.
That's good to hear.
It is good. You don't want to hear somebody say, well, you know, they came up to my house and just dogged us out. We don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
We just want to listen. But you know, sometimes we get that and we have to find out, well, what was really going on with the deputy at that time? Yeah. What was he or she or he dealing with? And it's amazing. So I want to thank you very much for coming and sharing your story. Actually, sitting here counseling me. I was so full because I have so much I feel like I want to say, and I love people.
I can tell.
I do, I love people. I remember my great-grandmother said, and I'm gonna tell you this story. She said to me one day, she was 95 years old, 96, and she's standing there, she's a little frail self, and she's just shaking. And she says, Danny, she says, I love everybody. And she says, before you can make into God's glory or into heaven, you must love everybody. And you know, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that. She transitioned, and about 5 years later, I woke up one morning, and I could hear her. And that's when my heart changed.
Wow, wow. That's one of my favorite things about Jesus. He just loved everybody.
Loved everybody. They cussed him, they did everything they wanted to do, spat on him and everything. He just loved them. So, but anyway, as you've seen throughout this episode, very emotional moments for me about people.
I can tell.
So, but addressing the community as the sheriff of Guilford County, I want to say thank you very much for coming out.
Appreciate it.
I want the community to understand how important mental health treatment is. It doesn't matter who you are, does not matter your race, who you love, who you serve, that's your business. Or how much money you have, that's your business. But mental health is real. I'm the sheriff for this county, and my goal is to make sure that every bit of the 500,000+ people hear my voice and get the help that you may need, because it's real.
That's right.
I want to say thank you for watching us, taking your time out to watching another episode of Coffee with the Sheriff. Thank you. Have a great day.